For many, this concrete structure became synonymous with the word Chernobyl. For 30 years following the world's biggest nuclear power plant disaster, the so-called shelter confinement facility was the only thing separating 90,000 cubic meters of radioactive waste and 200 tons of nuclear fuel from the outside world. At the time, the situation was such that people simply couldn't stay near the facility. At the construction of the shelter above the ravaged reactor in 1986, Anatoly Nosovsky supervised radiation safety, making sure workers did not exceed their daily irradiation dosage, deemed relatively safe. Made of 12-meter cascades of concrete and metal, the structure, also known as the sarcophagus, took 6 months to complete. There were quite a few gaps in it. It was not airtight, and therefore some of the airborne radioactive material could escape with the air flowing out of the structure. Now, the view of the sarcophagus is obscured by Chernobyl New Safe Confinement, or simply the Ark. It has a height of a 35-story skyscraper and spans 1.5 football fields in length. The new confinement took almost 7 years to build, and it wasn't built above the reactor. Being the largest movable land structure ever constructed, the 36,000-ton Ark was moved to cover the old shelter only after its completion. They let us inside the Ark, where the radiation levels are deemed relatively safe, but only for brief visits. And respirators should be used at all times, even during interviews. We are roughly 100 meters away from the destroyed reactor. The sarcophagus has served its purpose. The new facility was designed to safely shelter the reactor for the next 100 years. At this point, the old sarcophagus did not change in any way. The radiation level where we are standing remains the same, but outside the Ark, the gamma radiation level is down to half of what it used to be. The 1986 confinement had to be built in a hurry. Its dismantling will begin in 2019 and is expected to take years. Under the arch, we see 4 yellow lines. Those are the 2 cranes. The giant cranes will be operated remotely. Pieces of the dismantled sarcophagus will be broken up into smaller ones, deactivated, and taken to a radioactive waste storage facility. But for now, the final work is still being done on the new confinement. Service and access rooms are being built along with pumping stations and air decontamination facilities. If I say 40 becquerels, it will mean nothing to a regular person, but this is the parameter that our decontamination system puts out. Naturally, it conforms with all possible sanitary norms. While dismantling the old sarcophagus is a challenge in and of itself, the end goal is to extract the remains of nuclear fuel out of the destroyed reactor. Currently, it's outside of our control. It is located in a number of different rooms. To keep things under control, we need to know what is in which container, what its current state is. We cannot guarantee safety of certain facilities hidden under the old confinement. The maintenance of the Ark will cost Ukraine 60 million hryvnia annually. So far, the strategy is approved to work until 2065. By then, the territory of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant should be made as clean and as safe as possible. Although people say that the pyramids have stood through centuries with nothing happening to them, in our case, doing nothing would be a crime.